So this is the moment of truth. If I completely screwed this thing up, this is gonna push us back 3 to 4 weeks. Welcome back to Rebuild Rescue. So this week we have a lot going on. Greg and I gotta dig in. We gotta get the mounts on since we got the new mount for the tip tank, and Joe's leaving. Where are you going?
Going to visit our friends in Utah.
Wait, why did you tell us you were going to Utah anyway? This guy's like always going on vacation somewhere. Man, that's it. I quit.
You went the first time.
I quit. That's it.
Isn't it my turn to go out to Utah?
Yeah, don't you get to go to Utah? Everybody gets to go to Utah. You going to Utah, Harrison? Joe's on vacation this week. He wanted to stop in this morning and make sure he was all ready to go and that we were ready for him to go before he left. And after we get the tip tank mounts on, I got to take off because I got some things that I got to do on the road that are way past due. And Greg, sorry, you're gonna be stuck here doing wiring, brother.
It's all right, man.
Yeah, so I don't even know what I want to say. Let's just get at it. Let's get at it.
Welcome back to Rebuild Rescue.
We've been working on the 401 Phoenix for over 2 years. Looking back, I can't believe we've come this far. We've struggled and struggled with his fuel tank mounts for over 6 weeks, but our luck is about to change. Really happy to see that these new mounts, as expensive as they are, didn't come drilled. So, and that was a problem with the different mounts. If you look at this one, we drilled it just to see how far off the bolt holes were. If you see this one, it was off a good bit. This one was off like a huge amount. And obviously you can't do that with an airplane. It's actually, I wouldn't do that with much of anything. So, but we just wanted to see how far off they would be. It's a lot. That's like really far off. So that did crash that one, but we have the new one here, and here is the old one. So we have to transfer these holes over to here, and we can't make a mistake. It can't be off even by like a 1/16 of an inch. And we also have to transfer, the holes in the top and the bottom. So you guys get it. Like, it's definitely, it's going to be a little bit tedious. I'm going to go over in the drill press. I'm going to make some patterns, I believe. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to drill this pattern of holes in there based on the center line of here. And then we're going to go ahead and mount these. I'll mark them when this is mounted, and then we'll come back and drill these out after they're marked over on the 401. I think actually I might use these as the pattern. I'm not sure yet, but we got to make these perfect. These were like $650 for like those little pieces. All right, so I think I got this thing all set, and I think we're gonna be good to go ahead and drill it over in the drill press. I'm gonna go ahead and do, just a pilot hole here and probably maybe one here. I'll set some of the Clecos on there, and then we'll do the rest. I'm so nervous about messing this part up. It has to be absolutely perfect. So let's go give it a try. So I'm actually really nervous because if I drill this thing wrong, each piece is $300 and some, and it puts us back like 2 or 3 weeks because I'm gonna have to order new ones, and they're really hard to find. So hopefully I get it right the first time. I'm gonna go ahead, and the first hole I drill is gonna be in the center of the hole, but it's gonna be a little undersized, so then it gives me kind of another chance. I can align it up, I can see if it's right, but I think we got this. But I have to admit, I'm a little more nervous than I thought I was gonna be, so. So I had to come over here to the wing before I drill these out to the next size up, because I'm so worried about it not fitting right and having to get a new part and getting set back weeks you know, further. So it looks pretty darn good. Well, it actually looks perfect. So I think we're gonna be good. I mean, there's a little bit of variation because this does squeeze together as you do the rivets and so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just so nervous about this. So we're looking good. I'm gonna go ahead and draw all the rest of these rivets in here. And then I'm going to upsize them the next size. I'll come back over, I'll fit them to the wing. As long as they're good, I'll go ahead and drill my pallets for the top, get these marked, and get those drilled. I'll probably drill these in place after we rivet this in. So this is secure and it's in its final position. And then we go ahead and get these drilled out, get these rivets, and we're good to go. So this is the moment of truth. If I completely screwed this thing up, this is gonna push us back 3 to 4 weeks. If I got it right, well, at least on this right side, then we're gonna be good to go, and I only have that left side to do. Let's find out. Oh, it looks perfect. So that worked excellent. It is absolutely perfect. I'm gonna double check and go ahead and put some of these Clecos in and lock it into place, but as far as I can see, that worked perfectly. All right, so we got the new mount all Clecoed in. It's good. So what I'm gonna do, I got these Clecoed in. It has it all centered perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna drill all the pilots, top and bottom. And then this will finally be ready for a complete install. All right, it's in. It's 100% perfect. We're gonna have to take most all these off, get this skin peel back of it, and we're gonna start riveting either on the front or the back side first. I'm not sure. I think we're gonna have to design some special tooling to get these rivets installed perfectly. So those of you who know about rivets and about this type of rivet, you know, so Greg was just going over it, you know, you need about 1.5 times of like a mushroomed smashed head, you know, to give non-technical terms. So it's actually retained. And another thing that will happen is as you're smashing this rivet, it's expanding inside the hole. So if you've ever drilled one out, just because you take the head off doesn't mean that it's gonna come out. I mean, it's literally in there in all dimensions. It fills the hole and it fills the space. But you can't just keep beating on it because it'll work hard and then you're stuck. And we have such a small space to work with in there, making it super tough. Oh, it's going. One more and it ought to do it.
Yeah, one more time.
I think, yeah. Bam, done, looks good. I think it's gonna work.
Let's, can you do the same thing from the bottom?
Yep. Because we have a tank in here, we don't really have enough room to properly put these rivets in. We got 3 of them in and it's looking pretty good, but we want underneath, we don't have any room here. We even have to drill out this rivet because it was a little bit too short. It didn't pull the pieces in. This is a really difficult corner to work on. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna drill out these 7 rivets, which holds the tank in. I mean, all these other rivets do as well, and we can put these back in, but it'll give us a little bit of room to flex, to move this tank around, and hopefully we can get the bar a little bit better back behind here. All right, so you got that whole tank pulled back, you're good?
Yeah, you're not gonna hit it. You might get a little bit of something, but it's just gonna be the duct tape from the back there.
All right, so removing all of the rivets back here, even with the rest of the skin up here, it gave us more work in one way, but it's gonna help us get this done easier in another way. So it allows us to flex this a little bit more. So we get our specially designed axe handle bucking bar, Greg's idea, that's working good, you know, back behind here. So I think that may give us what we need. Greg had to run and grab a tool, so meanwhile I'm gonna go over to the other side, because on the other side we didn't drill out any of these rivets. I was hoping we could kind of slide it in, we could cheat a little bit a couple of weeks ago when we first started on this project, but now I can see that's a futile effort. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna drill all the things that I drilled out here over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these rivets first, and then I'll go ahead, I'll pull the bladder, the cap off, pull the bladder back, and get these also drilled out. We got the filler neck all removed, and we get the bladder removed from the inside of the wing, and we get it pulled back so I can safely drill at least back to here, and we should be good to go. So when these wings were sent out, like all this stuff was done, but this is like the tape that you put on the rivet line because you have a rubber liner and you don't want it rubbing directly on rivets because it'll eventually put a hole in the liner. So, we're gonna take all that stuff out because of all these rivets that we drilled out of here are all sitting in there. We gotta get that all cleaned out, and then we'll re-rivet it from the inside, and then we'll throw some new tape on it. If you look in here, you can see how this was just kind of all beat up. This was beat up before I got a chance to go to work in there, but we found a bunch of sharp edges that are inside of the tank. So I'm really glad, A, that we found the cracks in here and could replace this cracked piece, but it also led to discovering that the inside of that tank had some sharp edges. It would have surely led to some fuel leaks in that bladder. So we're gonna get that all fixed up. We're gonna get it all straightened up. We're gonna reseal everything. And then this bladder is going to be good to go. This whole fuel tank area is going to be good to go, and it'll be good to go for a long time. So actually, that little crack was a good thing in the long run, but it's a pain to fix.
There's a little bit of a bump there, but that's tapeable.
We finally got this thing all riveted up. Everything's in place. Everything is good to go. It's all solid, and this side's finally done. It was weeks to get this part, and you know, it took so long to get this riveted up correctly. It's yeah, it's a tough repair. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get over to the other side. We're gonna get it finished up, and then we can finally get the tanks on. Well, after I head out to Indiana and Michigan. that the last? Oh, there's one more. There's one more right here. All right, so that was the very last rivet on this mount. And guys, I'm exhausted. So look at this little mount. I thought it was gonna be, well, I didn't think it was gonna be anything like this. This is like 4 weeks in the making.
5 minutes, we'll blow it out real quick.
I know,
no
and
problem.
literally I looked at it when they were cracked. That's the first thing that went through my mind. I looked over at those. I thought we'd be good to go. Anyway, we got it done, Greg. It's awesome. So I learned so much from you. Thank you so much. This has been something I don't want to do again, but I'm glad that we got through it. So I have to actually get rolling. I have to go home. I have to grab my bags because I got to be in Indiana in like 10 hours. I'm going to get out of here. You're going to work on that wiring.
Yep.
And then when I get back, we'll go ahead. We'll throw these tip tanks on.
All right.
And this will all be done.
Good.
All right, man. Thanks, bud.
Yep.
All right, man. I want to remind you guys that we do have the free abandoned car giveaway. If you haven't caught any of the videos, make sure you do because we're giving it away to you guys absolutely free. The whole outside of this car was all redone. We just stuck a ton of parts into it because we've been working on it in the background, in between working on this and all the other things we're working on. So if you want a free car, make sure you subscribe to the channel, you like each video, and you say, hey, I want the Austin in the comments down below. Even in this video, right now, we just showed you the car. It's also been on 23rd Garage. It's been on Tim Gentry and Sons. Find it, I want the Austin. Make sure you subscribe to Rebuild Rescue. I can't wait to give away that car. It's gonna be so much fun. So what's worse than having an airplane that you can take an 11-hour trip and turn it into a 3-hour trip? What's worse is to have an airplane or 10 airplanes and still have to take that 11-hour trip. We were supposed to be flying 00 Whiskey to Indiana to help Josh Blair get his abandoned barn find Mooney started for the first time in 30 years. But I'm driving because there's bad weather coming in and someone completely forgot to change the oil in old Buckshot Whiskey. That someone that forgot to change Buckshot Whiskey's oil is me. After we get that old Mooney fired up, Josh and I will be headed to Marshall, Michigan to get our Cougar fixed up and hopefully running like new. That Cougar's been sitting there for over 1.5 years and we really need to get it back to the rescue hangar so we can fix it all up and get it sold. Meanwhile, Greg is back home working on the 401's wiring while Harrison is going to be headed down with the Saratoga engine to the overhaul shop. We decided to go ahead and get that thing overhauled so it's in good condition and ready to fly on missions. And Joe's been out in Utah on vacation hanging out with Bob and Max.
All right, so I'm heading down to Virginia to drop off the engine for the Saratoga, and on my way, had to stop at the best breakfast sandwich place around us. It's called September Farms. I mean, look at that breakfast sandwich. So yeah, had to get a little bacon, egg, and cheese action, and their hash browns because they fry them like a waffle, which is awesome. So definitely starting the day out right with a good breakfast from September Farms. I'm gonna head down. Should be a decently quick trip. I think it's only about a little over 3 hours both ways. Jason and Joe are both on their own road trips right now, so it just makes sense to add in another road trip during this week. Just got here to Winchester Regional Airport down in Virginia to Aero Engines. We're gonna drop off the Saratoga engine and pick up a couple more of the pieces from the 235. So it looks like I'm gonna be following one of the guys over to one of the other hangars. And yeah, then we can drop off this engine. Should be pretty quick. Me and Jason were actually, we were able just to lift it up into the back of the truck, but we're also both super strong, so it could just be that. But yeah, looks like we're just going right over here and gonna drop this thing off. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day.
Yep, drive safe.
So we got everything unloaded, all the Saratoga engine and parts, and we picked up all the 235 parts that they gave to us. But it was something cool over here, way over there. 2 school buses just pulled up. So looks like there's some kids having a fun field trip here. I mean, a field trip at an airport, it has to be awesome. Super cool guys. They made that really easy and quick, which I really appreciate. And now I'm gonna head back to the hangar and see what else we got to get working on.
So months ago, we removed tons of wiring from the 401, and Greg's in there cutting out even more.
Yo, Greg.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up? Hey, I just got off the phone with Jason, and he wants us to do an oil change on 00 Whiskey.
Okay.
So we're just gonna be taxiing this thing up.
Yep, we'll taxi it up there, get it warmed up a little bit. Great tow bar. Do it the old-fashioned way. We'll do it by hand.
Ooh, we're doing just using a screwdriver, no drill or anything.
For years, my dad didn't let me use the electric screwdriver.
Oh, really?
He stripped out screws and stuff.
Oh, true.
Oil change excitement.
All right, so walk me through this, Greg. What's kind of the steps to doing all this?
It's an oil change.
It's literally just as simple as a car oil change?
Yeah, pretty much. We'll look at it a little bit more. You know, we'll have the cowling off. We'll look at the top plugs, see how crappy they are. But yeah, just an oil change, drain the oil. Other than a car, we cut the oil filter open and make sure there's no metal in it. But
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Same
cool.
deal.
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you always cut them open, make sure nothing's coming apart in the engine.
nice. So it's kind of like an oil change. You always do like a very quick kind of inspection.
Yeah, I tend to do it. I mean, it's, you know, usually change the oil at 50 hours. If you look at a maintenance manual, there is a 50-hour inspection.
Okay.
So yeah, if you have the cowling and stuff off, why not?
Yeah,
look
might
at
as well just knock it all out in one.
Just
one time.
look it over. So that makes basically just looking it over, making sure nothing's falling off,
Nice.
nothing's coming apart. Hoses are all right.
So there's actually like a fitting on the end of it right here that you can hook a hose to or something?
Yeah, most people put a quick drain on there.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, nice. And then you
Normally
literally...
it's just a plug,
Yeah.
but you know almost everything you see has got that quick drain on there.
Yeah,
Or
that's
quick,
awesome.
Quick drain of some sort.
So yeah, you just connect that hose, hit this little switch or whatever, the little valve, and
Yeah, flip it up there and
drain it all out.
let it drain.
It's easy enough. All right, so we're gonna cut the filter open to see if there's any like
Metal.
metal
Yep.
dust, metal shavings,
Metal anything.
metal anything. It's just like a big old, almost like can opener.
Yeah, it's kind of a can opener.
Looks pretty good, right?
Yep.
So that's what you have to do every oil change is like
Yep.
kind of rip them apart and just check inside the filter, see if anything.
Yeah, you want to make sure nothing's wearing, nothing's coming apart. The few that I have that have had metal in it, it's as soon as you open it up,
You're like, oh,
yeah,
that's
you're
rough.
like, oh, yeah, that's no good.
Yeah. So what are we checking for on these plugs?
Just to see how clean they are.
Look pretty good, right?
Yeah. So we'll put a little bit of stuff on it and stick it back in. They're probably all right.
Cool.
Let me look over the hoses. The hoses look all right. Fuel lines are all right. The critical ones are these two here. The older Cherokees have the oil cooler up front. So there's an AD on these hoses here, especially where they run underneath the exhaust. So
That
check
they'll
'em.
melt or crack or
They
something.
crack and then, yeah, split open, then lose oil.
Right on your hot muffler. Or exhaust.
Usually don't spray on the muffler, but you
Okay.
lose all your engine oil.
Oh, nice.
So that's no good. There's an AD on these hoses. I think these are type D. Type D. Yeah, those are the good hoses, but I still inspect them anyway.
Yeah.
Make sure your fuel lines are all right. Blast hoses are all right. Mags are on there tight. Now we'll safety our oil filter.
Nice.
Cabling's good. Baffling look good. Don't see any exhaust leaks.
Seems like everything went well with the oil change.
Yeah.
Nothing blew up.
Made oil pressure right away. So
Nice.
we'll just make sure nothing's leaking out of it.
Yeah.
Dry there. No.
Would you just feel around the oil filter?
Yep, down the bottom of the oil filter.
Nice. Yeah, it
Nothing-
looks dry.
Nothing leaking
dry
in
down
there.
there.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get this thing pushed in and we're good to go.
Push it in and head out.
So it's Saturday morning here, and I am at the Sky Park, just at the north end of Salt Lake, and we're gonna be flying in swanky air today.
We're all back here in the rescue hangar, and actually Joe's prepping the parts for the 235 right now. I'm actually kind of exhausted. We've been so busy getting so many different things done. I can't wait for you guys to see the videos, to see the adventures. If you guys aren't subscribed, you don't have notifications turned on, do it. We have some really cool stuff coming your way. But we're back here with the 401, and Greg and I are finally gonna put these tip tanks on. Ready to get it done?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. These are like some ugly tip tanks too. Like we didn't even paint these yet. No primer, no anything. They
Hey, you know
actually
what?
need body work
Cancel
done.
putting them on today. We're gonna prime them.
No, we're putting them. So we actually have to put these on before painting them because we need to make sure they fit correctly and that they all wire up correctly, which we're going to do later. But it's just going to be good to get these tip tanks on.
Got
It has like a little bit of an edge right here. Okay.
You said there's a lip on there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a lip there.
Yeah, well, let's file that off.
You feel it?
Yep.
So
Just touch that with a file.
any kind, so when you have anything on an airplane that has a scrape in it, a hard gouge or a scratch, you have to make sure you clean that up because that's going to be a stress riser that will eventually become a crack, which we don't want. So you're not trying to remove like a bunch of material, you're just really trying to clean it up, get any burrs or any sharp edges that could be in there out of there. So you like the other sides, no problem.
Hey, let's just get right for the top one.
All right, there it
punch.
Get some nice new hardware in there.
Maybe not.
Perfect.
Yep.
Oh,
Beauty.
yeah. Little tappy tap and it's right through. All right, so this is actually the point where we find out if Greg and I actually installed those mounts correctly, because, well, it mounts here and it has to work in the way, anyway, it might not be right. We'll find out if it is or not. I knew it'd be right.
It's because I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead, we're gonna snug these up. We will be pulling these tanks off again at some point, but we wanted to get these all snugged up, and we wanted to do, we wanted to make sure they were right and they were gonna work well. We do have to figure out all this wiring here, and we do have to figure out some of the fuel lines as well, but now we know this is gonna fit well on this wing. It's gonna fit, it's going to work, it's gonna look good. Obviously there's some body work that we have to finish on these. We may do the body work right here on the airplane because it's a nice stable place for it to be, and also because I kind of like having tip tanks on this thing again.
Makes it bigger.
Yeah, it makes it bigger. So if you guys remember how bad this 235 cowling was after I had my accident, I mean, this thing's ruined, and Joe sanded all the paint off in hopes to be able to repair this. Well, as it turned out, it is impregnated with oil, and you just can't repair fiberglass that's impregnated with oil. No problem, because we're just gonna get a used one, right? Well, problem actually, because the 235 has a cowling that's genuine to it, and you just can't find them anywhere. We searched high and low. In fact, we got a cowling over there that, well, it looked like it was the right one, but it was the wrong one. So we called everywhere, and we ended up finding a cowling from BAS Parts. So BAS, they're out in Greeley, Colorado. Those guys are awesome. They found the cowling that we needed, and they got it shipped here in like under a week. So BAS, thank you so much for getting our cowling, because we can now finally finish that 235 project.
Got the 235 here in front of me. This side, there's some imperfections that we weren't happy with. There's a lot of bubbles on the tip tank. So then on top of that, we got our cowling here that came in from BAS. As you can see, it's not gonna match. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take this, get this prepped. There is also a couple small bubbles on this, not a lot. So tomorrow, as long as I have it in primer today, tomorrow it's gonna be ready so I can go ahead and paint it. And this thing is so close to being ready to fly again. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Probably good I took this apart, because what I'm seeing here is a little bit of staining from fuel. So we might have a fuel leak there. Let me go ahead and take a look inside this. And yeah, there's definitely fuel down inside there. And it's leaking from the bulkhead there. We're gonna have to address that. You count the layers and see how many times this was repainted. So this has been gone over a couple times. Alright, so what I found as I was sanding was each one of these spots, there's a couple of small pinholes, and whether it be just a vapor or a little bit of fuel splashing is getting in underneath the paint, and that was why there was 3 repaints on this. So talked to Greg, and the best plan of attack would be I mixed up some resin. This is the fiberglass resin I used on the inside to repair the other tank. It is a fuel resistant resin, so you go ahead, take a little bit of this and just seal over them spots, and should, keep it from doing anything in the near future. So So we got that all spread. We're gonna move on to the cowling. One thing nice about the vents are they're not all boogered up, so I'll just be able to scuff them a little bit, put a little color on them and clear them, and they'll be ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a sand to this, get any spots that are high sanded back down, and a little bit of sandy scratches in there. So I can go ahead, I'm going to come back across this with a skim coat of mud, hand sand it out, prime it, and I'll be ready for paint. Here I got the lower cowling all smeared up. I'm going to hand sand it down, get it so it's ready for paint and primer. Go ahead and get at it. Gonna get some paint shot on these and see if we can't get this thing back together.
Right there a little bit.
A little bit in the side there.
Yeah. I think I might see it. See it right there?
Yeah. Keep wiggling. Keep wiggling. Okay.
Got it. All right, hold on.
I got it.
All right, we're going into the back.
All right, we're in. In.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that was like a little tiny taps. Yeah, perfect. You know, and I was thinking, I was wondering, are these tip tanks going to be different than these wings? Because it's a 402 wings, but I forgot this is the 402 tip tanks.
It looks like they're fitting.
Now the moment of truth. Did our installed tip tank mounts install correctly?
I told you, it's gonna fit.
So what do you think?
That's pretty much perfect.
It's pretty much perfect. Well, and here's the thing, like, when you think of something like that, when you guys are looking at home and you're looking at it, you're thinking to yourself, oh, no big deal, it's a hole that's lined up. There, if you move one of these things a little bit the wrong way, and those of you guys at home that know, they just know, this could be off, it could be a catastrophe, so I was really worried about it, because this...
Don't talk about it yet, you don't have the ailerons on.
Oh, darn. Well, I'm talking about tip tanks right now. Ailerons are next week. It just bolts right up. So, yeah, no problem. We're good to go. Good job. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get these tightened down. We're going to look at some of this wiring today and do a couple other things, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I say it every week, but I really mean it. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have a channel. We wouldn't be here. I love sharing this adventure with you. You guys are what makes it happen. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.
I'll never let go. I promise.